generator, and the generator also is up here. So for the generator is this portion up on top, and all you do is you press it down for prime and then up for start. So you press it down, the little red light will come on, and then the numbers will show, and it's still priming, and you wait for a second, and then you hit up, and it starts. After you start the generator, if you wait just about 30 seconds, your microwave will beep, and it'll come on, so we'll give that a second. There we go. Now it has power all throughout the RV, and then to turn the unit off, you just hold it down, and that stops the generator. The generator gets its gas from the main tank from the RV, so you never have to worry about adding gasoline to it. There is a safety precaution on it that once you get down to a quarter tank of gas, the generator will stop and will not work anymore, and that way you can ensure that you're able to drive to your location and not get stuck somewhere because you ran out of gas. Alright, the next page is the lights. So there's lights all over the place, and they operate by 3 different switches. One is the main switch, which is of course down there, and then you turn that off and all your lights will turn off. Another way is by pressing the individual buttons up there. And the third way is there are switches located down there that will turn them off, and there are switches up here that say living room and kitchen, and those will turn lights off as well. Alright, then we have our awning, and our awning is powered by a large switch down by the main power button. Down here by the stairs is your main awning button, and that's how you turn it on and off. Now underneath the awning is a large set of running lights. They're party lights, and you turn them off right here. And then there's a patio light or porch light. Turn that on. Page 8 covers the toilet, and we'll discuss that. Toilets in an RV are different than a house. You don't have a handle to them. You have a foot pedal. Inside the toilet, it's just a hole that goes straight down. When you want to go number 2, add a little bit of water to it. So you pull it down a little bit, and you'll see water start to fill up the hole. But you put a little bit of water in, that way it doesn't stick to the side of the hole. When you finish, you just press the lever all the way to the floor. So page 9 talks about the outlets. There are outlets located all over this RV. There's some underneath the tables. They're underneath all the overhangs. They're on both sides of the bed. They're all over the place. And the outlets will only run if you're plugged into outdoor electricity or the generator is running, with 2 exceptions. You have this one up front, which is a power bank. As you can see, they're all USBs, and that runs all the time. And the second one is, you see that black cable coming from underneath the stereo? That is an Apple stereo, so you have Apple Play on it, and that cable comes out, and it's a power cord to the end that you can plug your phone to, and that runs all the time as well. On page 10, we cover all about the self-leveling jacks, and that's down here on the floor as well. It's called a Bigfoot system. And it works really easily. So there's the system power, so you press the system power, and it goes through this little cycle. And right now, probably 2 of the lights are getting flashed once it's done cycling. It looks like just one of them because we're not level right now. So to get your jacks to come out from underneath, there's one by each tire. You just hit the auto button, you tap and let it do its thing, and all the jacks will come out. It's best to have nobody inside the RV, but try to park level as possible, or else this leveling jack system will just raise either the front tires or the back tires right off the ground. So try to level yourself as much as possible before you use a leveling jacks. When you're finished, you just tap the retract button and then they all come up. If they don't come up for some reason, you press and hold the emergency retract button until they're all up. Okay? When that happens, a lot of times all 4 lights will flash and you can't operate it again, and the only way to reset the system is there's 4 screws on each side, and you open that up and you just unplug the power to it, plug it back in, and it resets the system. Page 11 covers the slide outs, and there are 2 large slide outs on this RV. One of them is right here, and it's from the stove all the way over to the other side. Okay, that whole thing slides out. And the other one is the bunk beds and the entertainment system in the back. When they are pushed in, that entertainment system actually shoves up against the bed. To operate the slide outs for the bunk beds, it's right next to the bathroom door. It's right here, in and out. And to operate the dining room slide out, it's also up here in the control panel. And it's right there, in and out. So most RVs come with a way where you can check all the levels of your different tanks, and that's located on page 12. And that's also up here near control panel. And so everything is listed right here up at the top. So you have LP gas, you have your battery, which is just a little low because we've been running all of our lights, your black water, gray water, and your fresh water. So that's your levels. Page 13 covers the furnace. Now the furnace is back here by the bathroom. It's right here, this switch here. So you have your fan, your cool, your furnace, and your heat pump. And you just press this button on the bottom to cycle through them or to turn it off. But when you operate the AC, you need to have the generator running or plugged into outside power because it draws a lot of amperage. But for the furnace, you don't need to have the generator running. There are 4 TVs in this unit. This is the main TV. Each TV has its own DVD player, and it's a surround sound system in here. You have your 4 speakers in it. There's 2 in the front and 2 in the back, and you operate those by this control system up front. There's an A, B, and C switch, and the B button over there on the right, that operates the speakers on the outside. So the TVs are of course 1. Then you have your console for the bunk beds, and it operates by that control panel underneath. Now up in this cupboard, we always have a bunch of DVDs for you to watch as well. 3rd TV is in the back, and the DVD player on this one is on the side of the TV. And the 4th TV is outside. And the DVD player for this one is underneath. This TV here operates 2 speakers up on top, and also the 2 speakers below the TV, so you get good sound. Page 14 talks about dumping the sewage, and we'll talk about that when we get outside. Page 15 is about refueling. This takes regular gasoline, and it's easiest to fill up at truck stops since they are geared for higher and wider vehicles and longer vehicles. So try to fuel up at truck stops. Also on page 15, it discusses refilling the propane tank. And I found that refilling the propane tank is a lot more difficult for people to find a place where they can refill. So that one people usually bring back with whatever level, and then I fill it. Page 16 is about the emergency box, which is outside, and I'll show you that. But that has just a series of your emergency cones, cables, a little toolbox, and a portable air compressor that you can plug to the battery on the coach or inside the engine, and it has enough power to pump up a semi-tire. That's pretty much for the inside of the unit. Everything's really clean. As we said earlier, Janet sanitizes everything. She is a nurse, so she is very particular about getting things sanitized and ready for the tenants. This captain's chair, the driver's chair, has a switch down on the side here that you can hit the switch and we'll rotate that chair all the way around to facing the back if you need an extra chair. Inside the cupboards above the kitchen table, we have it loaded full of games. There's a bunch of card games. There's also a big first aid kit up on the top, some board games, some puzzles, things like that, if you want to play that kind of stuff.